We're we're down here in Houston, Texas, and by we I mean I. You are somewhere else, but I'm still with you today. Today I'm going to talk about two things that are kind of on my mind and in my heart. And not kind of, they totally are. And that's the reason I'm going to talk about them. Two things: death and pain. I'm so excited. So excited to talk about death and pain. It's gonna be so lovely, all right? Grab your tissues, it's gonna be really poignant, and you're gonna get a lot out of this video. I've gotten a lot out of death and a lot out of pain, and I'm very thankful for them. And I'm gonna show you how to become thankful for these two seemingly unpleasant things. Lock in, get some value, let's do this.
All that I want in this life is the chance to do my thing. All that I want in this life is the chance to do my thing. I want the top. All my people right there in the back of the spot. I need the top. If you know me, you don't know me to stop. I need the top. All my people there in back of the spot. Let them get shot. Yeah.
So I won't delve in too deeply on the relevance of each one in my life right now, but I am going to I'll skim the surface of the death one. The closest person I've ever known who's died the other day. My buddy Alessandro, who has actually been on this channel, committed suicide about 2 weeks ago.
Hello, I'm Alessandro. I'm from South Africa, and I'm thankful for beer.
I've also lately been feeling a lot of pain come up, and I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about how the two are intertwined with each other, the two make up the fabric of life, and the overall essence of evolving better rather than bitter. Alright? First things first, death. What can we learn from death, and how do we move on from death? How does death make us better rather than bitter? The deaths of others, and essentially our death. Our ceasing of existence on this planet. How does this make us better versus bitter? And how to distinguish the two? So let's get into a train of thought here. My buddy Alessandro committed suicide. Now, if Alessandro was looking down at his body, and he was looking down at all the people grieving for him, and he was looking at pretty much the aftermath of his death, what do you think he would want us to do? Would you think he would want us to cry? Do you think he would want us to grieve? Do you think he would want us to regret? These are kind of the defaults that we subconsciously fall into, kind of automatically, when somebody dies, especially close to us. To answer those questions, probably not. Alessandro, or anybody who dies really, me, myself included, when I die, and Alessandro probably feels the same way right now, learn. Become better, not bitter from death. Learn from it. What can we learn from Alessandro? What could his death or anybody's death really teach us? Well, it could remind us of the impermanence of life, the impermanence of everything around us and within us. That, according to our own terms, this could end whenever the hell we want. That this could end, and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, or, in other words, the tunnel ends. Now, something that I've been kind of thinking about and delving into myself over the past couple weeks is, what does this allow me to better understand about now and my life in a macro sense, knowing that there is a figurative end of the tunnel? Right? There's a guy running right there, and you're going to see him pass by. I was running earlier today, and I run about once a week. I noticed that when I give myself a figurative death, or when I give myself a place where I can stop, it allows me to let go and embrace the moment to far greater depth than I was able to do before. So if I'm running, if that guy's running, and we're running across this field behind me, or you're going through life, if I'm going through life, we're going through life together, and we realize that there's an end point, that there's a line in the ground, whether we make it or somebody else makes it, whether just some shit that we can't control makes that line, at first is scary as fuck, but it's also liberating. And death is the same exact way. Death allows us to live. Death is the fabric of life right now. Now, if you're oblivious to death and you don't like to think about it and you're pushed away, well then it's not doing you any good. You're evolving bitter. But you can evolve better. Because by realizing that it's all going to end, you can give fully. I can give knowing that I don't have to give forever. That this uphill battle of giving, of this expanding, ever-expanding character, my energy does not need to be upheld through all of eternity. That this shit will end. That the game is going to be over. That referee is going to blow his whistle. You're going to cross that line and you don't have to run anymore. You don't have to live anymore. But if you can't see that line, if you can't understand how temporary this world is, both inside you and around you, both inside me and around me, the both of us, then we'll never be able to give to our fullest extent while we still can. Now going back to Alessandro, he would want us to cherish. He would want us to learn. He would want his death to better us. He would not want his death, and I would not want my death. Nobody really want their death at the end of it to make the world a worse place. Now, it's not amazing when somebody dies. Nobody's wishing for somebody else's death. I mean, well, that's not the case. People, we have murderers out there, okay? But nobody's necessarily wishing for another person that they're close to die. But it's going to happen, and it's going to happen to me, you, and everybody that you've ever known, everybody that's ever lived, and anybody that ever will live in the future, okay? It's going to happen, it's going to be inevitable. Why not make the world a little better of a place because of somebody else's death? And that can happen, the first way that happens is by you becoming a better person rather than a bitter person. And here's where I'm really going to delve into pain, okay? We feel emotional pain when we have certain attachments ripped from us. Pain, what I realized last night while writing in my journal, is a part of you dying. It's a part of me dying. Part of me that was living before, that I was attached to, is dying. But it's a part that needs to die. As we grow, as we expand, as we go through life, and as we experience pain, pain is the dying, it's the death, it's the shedding of skin. It fucking hurts, but it's essential for that snake to grow. It's essential for a human to evolve in an emotional and spiritual realm. Pain, sometimes we even feel it when we grow too fast and our bones feel that shit. That's kind of a different story. But pain itself, really, emotional pain, from what I understand, is just shedding necessary skin that's going to get shed anyway. Now, when I look back on the beneficial moments of my life, the most beautiful moments of my life, they were triggered and they were full of pain. They were very painful. I'll name a couple. Getting arrested for smoking weed. I'll name a couple. Getting arrested when I was 14 for smoking weed. That was massively painful, massively uncomfortable. At that time in my life, it was the most painful thing that ever happened to me. Now, if that didn't happen, if I didn't feel that pain, I would be in a very, very dark place. I could be in prison. I could be mentally disabled if I kept going down that path. I knew the path that I was going down. I'm not going to get into it, but it was going down, and it was going to head way farther than weed. Much farther. If I didn't feel that pain, which sucked at the time, fucking sucked. Guys, pain fucking sucks. But it's also necessary, and it's going to make you a better person instead of a bitter person. I'm going to teach you how, okay? That pain allowed me to evolve better, and I became a better person because of that. I've had breakups, relationships, fallouts when I was attached to people, when I was driving value and validation from others. Get those ripped off. You know Velcro when you just like get that shit ripped off? You know what I'm talking about right now. When they just rip your heart in half? Yeah, that's painful. But guess what? That person wasn't contributing to what you were about. And as a snake aligns itself, as it grows and sheds its skin, we become more pure. And we align with those who matter and not align ourselves with those who don't matter. It's called polarization. It's called fucking growth. Go watch that video. I don't want to reiterate it. But as you grow, you become more purified and more congruent with what you are. That which does not matter falls to the waistline, and it's fucking painful. I mentioned before, it's freaky. Sometimes it can be extremely painful when you have emotions invested in it. All right? That pain is going to make you a better person, not a bitter person. And here's how. Guess what? It's the magic word. It's a 7-letter word. Meditate. It's not 7 letters. Meditate. Meditation is that one thing that allows me to evolve better. I would be so fucked from all the pain that I've had, especially in the past 4 or 5 years since I've been meditating, but my entire life, if it wasn't for meditation. Meditation is that key foundational component of becoming better, from learning from your mistakes, from increasing your understanding from your mistakes and your adversities towards the world, your fuck-ups, whatever that might be. Meditation also allows you to appreciate and be one with pain. To stop eating fudge sundaes when shit becomes painful. To stop calling people up when shit becomes painful, although they can be very therapeutic. But to really sit with that pain and allow it to work its magic. Allowing, I don't want to say God, but the universe to give you that gift of pain. It's a fucking gift. The fact that you could feel that pain, Evan, the fact that you could feel that pain is a fucking gift. Some people are oblivious and numb to it. That is a gift that you can even feel that and respond to it as a better person. Meditation allows me, and it will allow you to do exactly that. So, moving forward, you have this tool in your toolkit, this diamond hard fucking hammer, where if a boulder comes up to you, if some molten rock comes up to you, some really fucking painful event comes up to you, all right, and you start to feel real adversity, real discomfort, you can chisel your way out of that shit because you have that tool. No distractions happening when you're meditating, when you're just feeling, when you're really just feeling your body, feeling the emotion run throughout the body, feeling it run its course, and being okay with pain. On the flip side, you can become bitter, and I see this happen to a lot of people. Especially in my male friend group, I see this happen with a lot of guys regarding the romantic relationships with women, okay? And you might be thinking of this in yourself, you might be thinking of this in other people when I mention this. What happens is we love somebody. As a man, you invest in a girl fully. You really, really give her what you got, and you explore a bit of your own nature with her, okay? Sharing that mutual growth together is beautiful, and it's a part of self-exploration that is shared, and it's not always entirely yours, and you have attachments towards the other person within yourself, okay? Within that expanded part of you, because you're delving into new realms, you're understanding love, and you're understanding the beauty of another person, and that mutual growth. You get what I'm saying. You get the idea, okay? It's hard for me to really iterate those things in just words. It doesn't really do them justice. They're almost beyond words. So, as a man, we have these beautiful moments with beautiful women. And what can happen is it doesn't always work out. Feelings change. Feelings veer to the right, to the left, backwards, up, down, left, right, but not towards you. And a lot of pain is felt. Now, let's say you love a beautiful woman. Or let's say that you really invest in another person, all right? If you're a woman watching this, you really invest in an awesome guy, a beautiful guy, whatever it might be. You really give all to that thing. And then it leaves. The next time that a beautiful person comes your way, it's happened to me, there's a bit of fear there because you know that that thing could leave. That thing is impermanent. But it's not impermanent in the sense that it's liberating like death. It's impermanent in the sense that you could lose whatever you're giving at any moment in time. And what does that cause? It's the F word. Fear. Okay? That causes fear. I had a girlfriend back in 2016, and when we broke up, one of the last things that she ever said to me was, do not be afraid to love again. And it really helped me out, and it's evolved in my understanding ever since then. And I'm to relate this back to death and pain. do not worry. The pain that I felt at that point was a reflection of where I was at. The problems in my life, the problems in your life, are a reflection of your character. If your pain derives from the fact that you couldn't have sex with somebody, that's 1 degree. If your pain derives from the fact that you couldn't tell somebody and you couldn't fully open up with your emotions to somebody else, that's a whole other thing. If your pain hurts from stubbing your toe, that's another degree, that's another paradigm, okay? So be thankful for these opportunities of pain because they're a ping for where you're truly at, what you're really made of, what I'm really made of, what we're both really made of. These painful moments are beautiful, and they shouldn't really result in suicide. You should not be evolving bitter because of these things. These pain is a moment of reflection. It's a moment of growth. It's an opportunity to grow. And if I didn't have meditation, then I would just be super fearful of these painful moments, of getting rejected, of trying things, of risking, of pushing my edge, of really expanding into the person that I really am, that I was meant to be, pursuing my purpose. I would not be able to do if fear got in the way. And fear is kind of inevitable. It's sort of the default as humans because of survival mode. Meditation refocuses that. It realigns that. And the direction towards survival versus abundance and thriving, I suppose. You could think of it as surviving and thriving, or coping and thriving, all right? Abundance and scarcity. It repivots and refocuses your reticular activation system in your brain so that you focus on and you naturally drive towards thriving, abundance, evolving better, not bitter, okay? And when things like death do occur in your life, when people do commit suicide, we all are going to die at some point, whether on our terms or somebody else's terms. It's going to happen. Not only is that liberating, but pain itself is liberating. Death and pain, they're both liberating if you can look at them through the correct lens. The whole essence of this video, really, I'm talking about death, I'm talking about pain. Okay, this is cool, intellectually stimulating. What's the takeaway, Evan? The takeaway is to go meditate. The takeaway is to go meditate. I'll just say it 3 times. The takeaway is to go meditate. The other takeaway of this video is that death and pain, yeah, they're uncomfortable and they might be uncomfortable to talk about, but you just watching me talk about death openly, you just watching me talk about pain openly, you watching me talk about suicide openly, my loves, my pain, my attachments, myself, this gives you the opportunity to do the same. It shows you that you don't have to be totally fearful. If you can see somebody else do it, then you can see yourself do it and do things that you couldn't do before. That's the gift that I want to give to you. I also want to give you the gift of meditation. And I also want you to realize, hopefully it stimulates in your brain, that death is inevitable. I'm going to die someday. I've been thinking about what my obituary is going to look like, what it's going to feel like, the legacy that I'm going to leave after I leave. And think about it for yourself. It's going to be painful. That legacy, these questions are fucking painful. The reflectionary period is painful. It's ambiguous. It's uncomfortable. And it's fucking necessary. And it's not going to end until death arrives. And then that pain will subside. Guys, this pain is not forever. The ball up the hill that you have to push that you think is forever, it's Mount Everest. It's going to end at some point. It's going to end at some point. It might be miles, millions of miles away. It's going to end at some point. You can evolve better. You can give more because of this. Your pain is a gift and it is limited. And it is limited. Use it while you still can. I'm trying to do that. I'm still in the journey. I'm still really trying to focus in on pain, embrace it for what it is, deepen my meditation practice, and ultimately give to you in more fidelity and more value. I want to be of more value to you. How does that happen? Me experiencing pain and evolving better. If you like what I'm about, listen to what the fuck I'm saying. Meditate. It's going to change your life if it hasn't already. Thank you so much for watching. This is Evan, Houston, Texas. Thank you for having me while I'm still here. Goodbye. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could I use you as a placeholder really, really quick? just so I can focus the camera. You stand like right here, okay? You move up a little bit towards the camera.